Today on Adventures with Peps, we are painting these Vulcan war droids. With powerful flight capability, Yaks are a vital component of the Vulcan war machine, providing essential air cover as they streak overhead, causing mayhem for the enemies on the ground or in the air. In addition to more numerous versions of the Yak, they are armed with the Burp gun. They are also interceptors which can carry stripped-down aircraft weaponry, such as the microcannons, in place of functional arms. Today on Adventures with Peps, we are going to paint these two little Warlord Resin miniatures up to tabletop standards, so let's get going. Right, if you caught last week's episode, you'd have seen me doing the unboxing video. If you didn't, go find it. It's not hard, it's only from last week, so go check that out. But here are the little droids. I tried to give them a black. God, my camera is not looking onto this. Let's try a bit closer. There we go. Sorry about my gnarly fingers. But yeah, I gave them a quick base coat of black. As you can see, I did a pretty slappy job on it. But we're going to kick things off with lead belcher. We're going to do a super heavy dry brush like I've done with most of the droids. So that's going to cover up any mistakes I made with the black paint. So I grabbed my basin brush, and it's not very exciting. You know the deal with this. I'm just going to go around trying to work out how to get my camera to focus on this model. They're tiny models. It's really hard to get the camera to focus on them. I'm going to just whip around, making sure I get a good solid base coat of this lead belcher down. It's not super exciting for you guys, but look at his little face. He's so cute. And they got these creepy cricket legs. But what we'll probably do is skip forward so you don't have to watch all of this. With the lead belcher now fully dry, I grab the Absolution Green Army Speed Paint. And I just cover the entire model. Now last time, I think it was the AK-47s for this force. I used the camo green and it came out quite nice. I'm quite happy with it. But I just fancied a slightly different green, so I went with Absolution this time. It seems a bit brighter, a bit bolder, but it goes over the lead belcher really well, and it gives a wonderful metallic sheen to it. And there we go, just proven that the model can fly. Don't do that at home, I'm surprised it didn't break. But yeah, I'm just making sure the model is completely covered in this green, because it does take up 90% of the model, so it's a nice easy step. Get the paint down, slap it down, and we will be back for the next stage. And that next stage is the Zealot Yellow by the Army Painter. Picking up a theme here. Now, looking back, I wanted a brighter, bolder yellow. I maybe should have painted the yellow areas white first to really help this color punch out. Instead, I get this kind of shiny gold effect, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but it blends in with the green a bit too much. I want it to be a bit brighter. So this will be a base coat. I'm still going to do the wings, the face mask on both of them, but the plan is I will go back with a different color and paint over the top of it for definite. It's just not bright enough. It looks like, I don't know. It works really well for my executioners and their shoulder pads, but for these, it's just not bright enough for me. I wanted something a bit more bolder, a bit more punchy. With the yellow almost dry on both models, I grab the Blood Red by Army Painter. This is going to go on the engine casing on the top here. And then I'm going to work my way around this one's helmet. The other one doesn't have a helmet. Not entirely sure why one got a helmet and one didn't. It's a weird design choice. I was following the picture to roughly work out where things go. But then I decided to go a little freelance, especially on this red one. So I do a lot more red on him than is shown in the photographs. I think the red just looks really punchy. There's something about these that just make me think of toy aeroplanes. The silly old polystyrene ones that you used to get for like £1 or a couple of dollars. You built them, they flew for like an hour, and then you somehow snapped the tail on them. I'm just getting heavy vibes from that. I'm also going back to the 80s, I'm getting He-Man vibes. Like, especially on this model, I've got the red, I've got the yellow, I've got this green. I'm basically painting Battle Cat from He-Man. I didn't realize it until I finished the model and I'm sitting there staring at it. But I've painted Battle Cat and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love He-Man. As a child, I had nearly all the figures. And I've been having a real nostalgia kick at the moment, especially with it being on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen a lot of adverts for it. And yeah, looking at this now, I'm just getting full-on He-Man Battle Cat vibes from him. He's like fully armored up. He's got his red helmet on, his green body, and then his little accents of yellow. Oh, maybe this one can be Battle Cat and the other one can be Cringer. Maybe I've just named them. That could be the name. I'm sorry. Let's get back to ABC Warriors. Now, as I mentioned, I wasn't really happy with the yellow I had on this model, so I grabbed the Citadel Uriel yellow and just decided to go over it all. I really want to get some different proper paints, I guess, not speed paints. I'm leaning heavily towards the Army Painter. I prefer their speed paints, so I'm hoping their normal paints will be just as good. But I feel like I need to get some proper paints for this stage. I don't like swapping from Army Painter to Games Workshop paints. I've also been finding my Games Workshop paints, they're getting lumpy and clumpy, and there's no mixing stones in them unless I go get my own, and they just really annoy me. So the pots annoy me, the lumpy paint annoys me, everything annoys me about them. But ultimately I am using them for this paint scheme. Just going to do the wings and the face plates on both of them, and then we will get into the last and final stage. And that last and final stage is with the Games Workshop Evil Sun Red. I'm just going to do a very heavy edge highlighting, I guess. I decided that the red didn't punch out as much as I hoped. This is a common theme for this model. I really should have painted the red and yellow areas white, and that probably would have helped the speed paint a lot more. But because they were going over that lead Belgian metallic, they came out a little bit too dark for what I wanted. So I kept them as the base coat, and then I just used these additional colours to help them pop out a bit more. It's not how exactly I planned on them looking, but ultimately it did work out, so I'm really not upset. And whilst you're watching me do this, I'll line up the glamour shots and we'll call it a day there. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you learnt something. I hope you learnt from my mistakes. Hope you can now never unsee Battle Cat when you look at them. And I will catch you again in the next video very, very soon. Cheers for watching.